Welcome. You are about to discover the Eris Lifetime Income Portfolio to give you a constant flow of retirement income that can automatically get bigger over time without draining your principal balance so you don't run out of money and so you're not overwhelmed with complication, confusion, and frustration. I'm Paul Spurlock, and I will be your presenter. So in the next few minutes, you're going to discover a powerful retirement strategy for generating income, growth, and preservation of principal all at the same time, a ridiculously simple way to put your retirement income on autopilot and shield it from devastating stock market losses, how to streamline the management of your finances down to just a few hours a year so you get to spend more time on the things you'd rather be doing, and a simple but effective plan of action and protection so the next big stock market downturn doesn't wreck your retirement and potentially wipe out a huge portion of what you've worked so hard to save. I'm also going to reveal to you some of the worst advice that you may have been told from so-called advisors. I'm going to share with you the 3 painful retirement planning realities that many people fall victim to without even knowing it, and reveal to you the potentially fatal retirement income flaw that destroyed so many retirements during the last market crash. So who is this presentation for? Well, if you lived through the stress and anxiety of the 2008 market crashes and are horrified at the thought of going through that again, especially during retirement, if you wish you could have more simplicity and predictability with your retirement income and lifestyle and are sick of not knowing what to expect, if you're tired of worrying about how the latest bad news or economic fluctuations might completely ruin your ability to even retire at all, if you're sick of so-called money managers draining you with fees only to rarely contact you and act like they're not even paying attention, or if you're just plain fed up with it all and are simply ready for a better way to do things, then this short presentation could really help you. Now, here's my promise to you. We should not have to take any more than 20 minutes of your time to get through this. I'm going to go at a pretty good pace, so I'd really encourage you to get some note paper and be ready to take some notes as we go through this. Also, I am a professional financial advisor, not a presenter, so just bear with me here as we get through this together. You should learn some genuinely helpful ideas that can solve your pain, and also you can book a strategy session with me at any time by clicking the Book Strategy Session Now button below this video. So as we go through this together, if I mention some ideas or hit on some particular points that strike a chord, I would encourage you to feel free to book a strategy session with me at any time. There's no cost or obligation for having that call, and I'd love to be able to connect with you. Also, there's nothing for sale in this presentation, so put your credit card away. But there is a gift that I want to give you at the end, so make sure you stay with me all the way to the end because you're not going to want to miss this. So does this sound like you? You're sick of wrestling with the choice between a very risky stock market in hopes of better returns or settling for pitifully low interest rates in banks and CDs? Maybe you've already tried a lot of different advice and strategies in the past that look promising, only to end up with terribly frustrating results that leave you thinking, why me? Maybe you're scared of being taken advantage of and making a costly mistake that you might severely regret. You know you have to do something, but there is so much confusing information to sort through that analysis paralysis is keeping you from taking meaningful action. Maybe you've spent the last decade climbing back from the losses of 2008. You're finally back ahead, but you know that the next major downturn that comes could mean lights out and game over if you're not careful, almost to the paranoid point. Perhaps your greatest fear is that if you start losing money in a market downturn while trying to withdraw income at the same time for retirement, it could create a mathematical death spiral from which you might never recover. Maybe you find yourself thinking more and more about the promises you've made to yourself and to your spouse when you were younger, the trip around the world, more time with the grandkids, or finally just the freedom of stress-free living. Yet now, even after a lifetime of hard work and saving, it is killing you to think that you still may not be able to afford to keep those promises. Maybe all the anxiety is creating pressure on you, your family, or even your marriage, and the arguments and stress it's causing are just getting worse. If some or all of these examples sound exactly like how you've been feeling, then I want you to know you don't have to suffer with these frustrations a moment longer. For the past 15 years, I've helped show people just like you a simple, low-maintenance system that can protect your retirement income so it won't be affected by a stock market downturn, keep you from running out of income in your old age, set up your income to automatically get bigger over time, reduce the time that you spend managing your finances down to just a few hours a year, and allow you to preserve some or all of your life savings balance throughout retirement all at the same time. It's called the ERIS Lifetime Income Portfolio. And in just a minute, I'm going to reveal to you exactly how I've helped people set up this system for themselves and restore confidence in their future. But first, I want to help you clearly understand once and for all why you're most likely having these problems to begin with and why it's not your fault. Since 2007, when I branched out beyond my local market to start helping clients on a national scale, I've had literally hundreds and hundreds of conversations over the years with different people about their retirements. And the people that I've met who are experiencing the biggest fears and frustrations in regards to their retirement, well, the reasons could almost always be traced back to three painful realities. Painful reality number one is using the wrong tool for the job. There are many different types of investment products out there, and they all come with both good parts and bad parts. And the reality is there's no such thing as one investment product that can do all the things that you want for retirement. It simply does not exist. In fact, most investments that are legitimately good at producing income are usually pretty bad at growing money. And investments that are good at growing money are usually pretty bad at producing dependable income. Unfortunately, the way many people have their retirement portfolios set up, it's like they're trying to pound a screw into the wall using the handle of a saw. Sure, with enough struggle and effort, you might be able to get it to work, sort of, but why on earth would you do that to yourself if you don't have to? Painful reality number two, using the wrong advisor for the job. There's a simple reason why you don't go to a cardiologist for brain surgery, because it could be fatal to your health. And yet, in the financial world, this is exactly the kind of mistake that people make every day, and they don't even realize it's happening. Not all advisors are created equal, and neither are the plans that they produce. Just ask all the people in 2008 that lost 30, 40, 50% or more of their life savings and were forced back to work. So if you need income for retirement, preservation of principal so you don't run out of money, and need help redesigning your portfolio correctly for this new season of life that you're about to enter, it is absolutely imperative that you are working with an advisor that specializes in those areas. Otherwise, the results could be disastrous. Painful reality number three, using the wrong approach for your current season of life. Look, if you're 65 and you're investing like a 45-year-old, there's a very high probability that you have an excessive amount of risk in your portfolio that could be very dangerous. The reality is there are three financial phases of life. The accumulation phase is the time during your working career where you're saving, you're investing, you're taking on calculated risk, and you're trying to accumulate the largest pile of money possible for retirement. Once you hit 55, in most cases, you enter what's called the transition phase, where you start slowing down in regards to the amount of risk that you're taking. And then typically at age 65 plus, you enter what we call the income or preservation phase, where the focus at that point is no longer growing the money as much as you can. The focus instead shifts to safety and making sure that you don't lose what you already have. Yet we find that so many people continue using accumulation-style techniques right on into their transition and into their income and preservation phase, and this is an enormous cause of financial problems during retirement. So you're having problems, and now you know what is likely causing them, but maybe you're still wondering, so how do I actually fix this? Well, the secret to solving your frustrations is to redesign your retirement portfolio correctly to include these three simple but critical elements. Element number one, it must be able to produce automatic income throughout your lifetime. Element number two, it must have a dedicated method for regrowing and replenishing your principal throughout your lifetime. And element number three, it must have the ability to provide you with liquid money for emergencies and unexpected expenses throughout your lifetime without wrecking elements 1 and 2. We call this the ERIS Lifetime Income Portfolio. And ERIS, by the way, stands for Advanced Retirement Income Solution. And here's how it works. Your money is divided mathematically into three primary containers or legs. We actually like to call these buckets. And these buckets are set up so that every dollar of your portfolio is assigned a very specific purpose and function. When you assign each bucket a particular function correctly and divide your nest egg appropriately, you can have income and growth and preservation of principal working together all at the same time. So let's dive in a little bit deeper and see exactly how this works. Step one is to create a bucket for liquid cash in order to cover unexpected emergencies. We like to call this the emergency cash position, or ECP. And having this extra bucket of spare cash that is kept totally separate from your income money and growth money actually acts as a shield of protection for the rest of the plan. This way, if something unexpected happens, you don't have to raid your income and growth buckets, which would disrupt the important purpose and function they are already serving. Step number two is to create automatically increasing retirement income for life. Did you know there are contractually guaranteed and insured products available that will pay you monthly income for the rest of your life and will keep paying that income long after your original deposit runs out? By combining a few of these products together and staggering them over time, you can have a stair-step effect to where you automatically get a raise in your retirement income every few years as you get older. When you know how to use these products correctly and exactly how much of your overall money makes sense to put into each one of them, you can create an increasing income on autopilot that can never run out and can never be negatively affected by a stock market downturn. Step number three, creating growth and replenishing your principal without excessive risk. If you're like a lot of people, you might be under the impression that once you retire, you are basically done growing the majority of your money and now have to focus exclusively, and nervously for that matter, on preserving what you do have so you don't run out of money. You may not be fully aware of the simple but powerful benefit of growing a separate bucket of money all throughout your lifetime for the purpose of replenishing your principal balance during retirement. Now, there are numerous options that you can choose from to grow a separate bucket of money efficiently and effectively during retirement, especially when that growth bucket doesn't have to share the burden of generating your retirement income. Now, depending on your preference, some growth options are available with no downside stock market risk, while other options can contain a certain amount of acceptable volatility. The beauty, however, is that even if you do prefer to use growth vehicles that contain risk, you can now keep that risk completely isolated, almost like an island unto itself, and totally separate from the monies that you already have dedicated for income. So it really all comes down to one basic fundamental concept. Keep it smart and keep it simple. Use investment products that are good at income for income and nothing else. Use investment products that are good at growth for growth and nothing else. The key is knowing how much of your overall portfolio should go into each bucket in order to give you a healthy and balanced solution, and what vehicles are best suited to fund each bucket. Because if you get this critical step wrong, it can lead you to losing your hard-earned money, not having enough income to survive on, being woefully unprepared for emergencies, and living with the paranoia of completely running out of money in your old age and having nothing left for your kids when you die. The question is, are you willing to continue risking all of that when just a little of the right education, guidance, and awareness could help you avoid those potential problems? That's exactly the situation that Penny found herself in when we first met. Penny is an actual client of mine that was introduced to me through my website just after the 2008 market downturn. She had just lost $300,000 in the stock market, so that meant her portfolio went from $900,000 down to $600,000. And as she was trying to retire from her nursing position, she was confused and frustrated as to how to best go about creating $2,000 a month of extra income. But on top of that, she wanted to preserve her balance to leave money to the kids, and she was worried that inflation and the overall cost of living throughout her retirement could cause her to run out of money. So when I worked with Penny, we built her a custom Eris lifetime income portfolio, and here's what it looked like. We actually took Penny's $600,000 that she had available, and the first thing that we did is set aside $30,000 for emergency cash. $445,000 was dedicated to income, and as you can see here, we were able to stagger these various amounts in her different income legs so that she not only got the $2,000 a month that she was looking for, but every few years she received substantial raises in her retirement income on a guaranteed and automatic basis. Now, even though her $445,000 of principal inside of her income bucket would eventually run out, the total amount of monthly income that was being generated is guaranteed to continue for the rest of her lifetime. And on top of that, we were able to set aside enough money in her growth and recovery leg so that while her income legs were depleting themselves of principal, her growth bucket was steadily regrowing and replenishing the $610,000 that she started with. That way, at age 85, she would be able to recover all her original principal on top of and in addition to multiple streams of monthly income that we're still paying. Let's take a look at Edward's case. Edward was a retired military veteran, and when I first met Edward, he was trying to figure out how to best utilize the proceeds from the recent sale of real estate. Now, in Edward's case, he only needed an extra $1,000 a month of supplemental income, but he was very, very fearful of stock market risk. And in Edward's case, he wanted his monthly income of $1,000 to actually get bigger over time while the balance of his account got bigger as well. So he was trying to figure out how to grow that nest egg while producing income and be able to pass this on to his kids and grandkids. When I built a custom ERIS portfolio for Ed, what we did was create, very similar to Penny's case, 3 income legs in the middle of this plan that were able to produce the $1,000 a month that Ed was looking for, but also had the types of automatic inflation adjustments that we saw in Penny's plan. Now, what's different about Ed's plan is that because he needed less income than Penny, we were able to set up his ERIS portfolio to actually recover more than what he started with. So you'll notice with Ed, we were working with a total of $300,000, but we're actually recovering $500,000 at the other end, in addition to giving him multiple streams of guaranteed lifetime income. Lastly, let's take a look at Norman. Now, when I first met Norman, who's a retired professor, Norman had an interesting case because all of his money was concentrated inside of his 403B account. And if you're not familiar with the 403B, it's very similar to a 401k account, but it's typically designed to be used for college professors. Now, Norman had a very, very low risk tolerance. So inside of the mutual fund options that he had to choose from in his 403B, he was only comfortable using the fixed income option that was paying a guaranteed 2.5%. The problem with that is that his $500,000 balance was therefore only creating $1,000 a month of income, since in order to keep the risk down, Norman was trying to just live off his interest only. His biggest challenge was that he desperately needed another $800 a month of income, but he was worried that if he started withdrawing more income, he would deplete his nest egg and run out of money. So when we built Norman's ERIS lifetime income portfolio, we were able to take his $500,000 and immediately begin generating $1,827 a month, as you can see here, instead of the $1,000 a month that he was used to. We also set it up so that 5 years later, he would get a $375 a month raise, bringing him to $2,203 total. And then another 5 years after that, he got a $669 raise, bringing him to almost $3,000 total. And we were still able to recover $325,000 of principal at the other end. So similar to Penny's case, we're able to regrow this money on the back end, but we decided to regrow not as much since Norman did not have the types of objectives or priorities as Penny did in regards to leaving money to the kids. So with Norman, we were able to increase his income and preserve about 70% of his original principal, which completely solved his investment objectives. So with all these cases, Penny, Edward, and Norman, the ERIS lifetime income portfolio concept across the board was able to provide more income, better stability and predictability, less downside risk, and better preservation of principal all at the same time. So these are real-life examples of what you can enjoy when you have a mathematically correct solution for your retirement. The reality is you can keep trying to go it alone. You can keep researching, keep interviewing advisors, and keep struggling with all the same fears and frustrations that are already driving you crazy. But honestly ask yourself, can I really afford to risk any more time and money at this stage of the game? Or am I at a point where the next option I try absolutely has got to work? Wouldn't it make sense to work with a seasoned professional that can come alongside you and help fast track you to success so that you can fix these problems and help protect yourself from making costly mistakes that could end up being too late to correct? Think about it this way. If you had to fly this plane and your life depended on it, would you feel comfortable just reading some articles on how to fly the plane? Or would you prefer to have a licensed, experienced professional sitting right beside you the whole time, showing you exactly which button to push and when? So ask yourself this simple question. If Paul could show me a simple way to redesign my retirement portfolio to create stable, automatically increasing income throughout my lifetime, help protect me from dangerous stock market declines, make sure I never run out of income in my old age, preserve my lump sum principal balance, and give me liquidity and flexibility along the way, does that sound like something I'd like to learn more about? If so, then here's where my free gift to you comes in. Each month, I set aside a limited number of time slots in my calendar to have a complimentary live educational demo for people who are serious about improving their retirements. These educational live demos can be done very conveniently for you right over the phone and computer, where you get to see a visual example of exactly how the plan works and will even receive a customized ERIS lifetime income portfolio printout showing how it can be tailored to your exact needs for retirement income and preservation of principal. There's no cost or obligation for having this live demo strategy session call together. Let's get your questions and concerns answered. And if you truly believe this is the answer you've been searching for, and I feel that I can really help you and that you're a good fit for me too, then let's explore how we can work together and achieve the positive transformation that you've been searching for. Now, you might be asking yourself at this point, is this safe? I mean, isn't this a little weird? Should I really be talking about my money with some guy on the internet that I've never met? Well, that's a very fair question, but the simple answer is yes, it is absolutely safe, and here's why. First of all, I do not ask you for any sensitive information like social security numbers or account numbers or anything like that during our strategy call. Number two, I'm professionally licensed in 40 states around the country, and I have extensive background check information that I can provide you with. And lastly, even if we do decide to work together at some point, you never actually send me any money. Your money is always held by world-class, well-known custodians like Fidelity or Charles Schwab or large reputable insurance companies. So all I'm really doing is just providing the ideas and strategies to help you achieve better results. And here's just a little more about me. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a real person and a real advisor. I've been a financial advisor for 16 years. I've been married for 15 years and have a beautiful 13-year-old daughter who, lucky for her, looks more like her mom than me. I have a 95-pound German Shepherd who thinks he's a lap dog, and I still play ice hockey for fun and exercise. But I'm absolutely passionate about helping people solve their biggest concerns about retirement. Now, I want to be completely upfront with you. I can't help everybody. In fact, of all the people that I've helped across the country, I can usually do the most good for people who are 50 to 75 years old with investable portfolios that are between $300,000 and $3 million. So it is really helpful if you fit within those basic parameters. Now, if you're not serious about improving your situation, if you're just kicking tires, or if you really don't have any money to plan with, then this opportunity is probably not for you. However, if you have a must-fix problem, if you're totally serious about improving your situation, and if you're absolutely committed to getting the help and answers that you deserve, but most importantly, if you can imagine how good it would feel having predictable lifetime income that keeps getting bigger, that is not affected by market fluctuations, and that allows you to replenish your principal and reduce your fear of running out of money, then right below this video, I want to personally invite you to click on the button that says Book a Strategy Session Now. When you click on it, it'll take you to this very short confidential application form where you can tell me a little bit about your current situation, but most importantly, about which of your key frustrations that if I could help you solve once and for all, would have the greatest positive impact on your retirement and your personal quality of life. Then, once you complete the short form, it will immediately redirect you to my calendar where you can schedule a 30-minute one-on-one confidential strategy session with me personally. So ask yourself again, am I ready for some real solutions to my greatest retirement concerns and frustrations? If so, then get a customized printout of the Eris Lifetime Income Portfolio and see for yourself just what this strategy can do for you and your retirement. Once you're registered, be sure to check your email box for confirmation of the strategy call and be sure to add it to your calendar. I'm really glad that you joined me on this presentation today, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with you on our upcoming live demo strategy session phone call. Bye for now.